This is problem 3.04 for Francois Tardieu's Backgammon Strategic Concepts book from chapter 3, Playing with or Against a Lone Back Checker. Here's the position. We're green. We rolled a 6-4. Our home board's in the bottom right. We've escaped one of our back checkers, and so we have one left on the 24 point. Look at the two top moves and try to figure out which one is best and why. I'll give you my quick observations on each of the moves, some of Tardieu's key points, as well as Tardieu's expert analysis with feedback from XG. We'll look at Tardieu's summary, and then I'll modify the position, which raises a few questions. Also, we'll take a look at Sunny Florida Backgammon Club's Francois Tardieu Strategic Concepts playlist on their YouTube channel. Some points to remember when playing with or against a lone back checker. A lone back checker can escape twice as easily as two. It can run to freedom in a single roll. However, a single back checker cannot form an anchor, so it is vulnerable to being blitzed by the opponent. Here's the first possible move, strengthening our prime by making our bar point 13-7, 11-7, like this. This makes a valuable point and strengthens our prime, brings the 12th checker down into the battle. Should not be too difficult for us to escape our back checker in the upcoming moves, and keeps our back checker on a safe point, the 24 point. It's not very desirable for white to either hit us or make that point. Strips our midpoint, passes up an opportunity to run our back checker to near safety by moving 24 to 14, and it leaves a blot on our 11 point here. Second possible move is to run from 24 to 14 like this. This runs when we're ahead in the race. Be ahead by 16 pips after the move. Being hit by white is not fatal. If we're hit over here on the 14 point, it won't be too difficult for us to come back in. Leaves a vulnerable blot on the 14 point though. Passes up a chance to make a strong 4 prime by making our bar point. And since white has uh, a better home board than we do, they've got 3 points covered, opposed to our 2 points covered in our home board. We need to remember, since the hitting contest usually favors the player with the better home board, so that would be white, we need to consider the fact that white does have the better home board. He has got 3 points covered in the home board. We got 2 points covered. So we need to at least consider that. Even though white's 3 points aren't the strongest 3 points. Compare both moves and try to figure out which one you prefer. Some priority mentions when playing with a lone back checker. When we have a lone back checker, we should maintain the advantage of this lone back checker as long as possible, even if it decreases our flexibility. We should avoid leaving ourselves exposed on desirable points, such as at the edge of our opponent's prime or any other strategically valuable point. If we're ahead in the race and we have an opportunity to run to safety, then we might want to race. And even if we can't run to complete safety at our midpoint, if we're ahead in the race, then we should consider at least moving our lone back checker close to safety, like on the 14 point possibly. Let's see what Tardieu and XG say about the moves. The move we're running 24 to 14 like this. Tardieu says, being hit isn't too bad given white's impure board and lack of builders to make the 4 and 5 points. And even if we are hit, we still have an advantage with one checker back compared to three for white. So even if we run out here and we get hit and sent back, we'll still only have one checker back compared to white's three. So we'll still have the advantage there. However, considering the importance of our 7 point, and since escaping our checker from the 24 point will not be particularly difficult over the next few rolls, we should play for long-term success and a winning priming game by making the 7 point, securing a real advantage for our position. And 13-7-11-7 does secure the 7 point, which is a real advantage for our position. It secures a long-term asset, the solid 4 prime, that will contain white's 3 back checkers. White is not threatening to blockade our last back checker until they can make their 4 or 5 point, and they have a severe lack of material with which to make those points, the 4 and the 5. Moreover, we'll be fine even if we don't roll 3 or 4 in the next few rolls. Thanks to our checkers on the 11, 8, and 6 point, we have enough timing and enough play to preserve our prime until we can finally run off the 24 point. Escaping our checker from the 24 point will not be particularly difficult, so we should hang back and make the 7 point, which is what this does. This move does. That's why this is rated the best. So with this move, making the bar point, we're maintaining the advantage of our lone back checker, and we avoid leaving ourselves exposed on a desirable point also by staying back on the 24. Tardieu summary: a priming game is a long-term investment and will often pay dividends when our opponent has more checkers back. Like here, our opponent has 3 checkers back, we have 1 checker back. If we modify the position, moving these 2 checkers from the 23 point to the 21 point, like this, so it looks like this. Let's see how that changes things. If white had made their 4 point instead of their 2 point, XG tells us that we should now run our back checker out, like this. I believe this tells us that white's weak board was a major factor in the original position. It will now be more difficult for us to escape our back checker, so we should start our escape, especially given the fact that we only have 1 checker back and we're ahead in the race. I think I'm interpreting this correctly, but I might be missing something. Let me know if you agree or not, or if you have a question or a comment. All feedback is welcome. Check out Sunny Florida Backgammon Club's in-depth series of videos covering Tardieu's book from their YouTube channel. Gary Koscielny leads a group of players through every position in the book, eliciting their feedback and their thoughts. It's helpful for players at all levels.